hello, welcome to the first bass session of 2022. Now I've come out this morning, it's pretty early in the morning, it's about 9 o'clock, and I'm going to be hunting some bass. Now the lure of choice to start with is going to be the IMA Hound Glide. Now I've only recently just bought this lure, I'm yet to have any bass on it. I've chucked it out a few times and I really like the feel of it so far. Now it casts really well. I would class this as a shallow diver, although it does swim a bit deeper than your average shallow diver or like the IMA Suzuki. Now we've got a dropping tide today, it's a big spring tide and it's about halfway down at the moment. Now obviously with the big spring tides the water moves really fast. What I like to do is have a few casts in a few spots and move along straight away. If you're not getting anything in 5, 10, 15 casts, move to the next spot and try there. The tide runs very quick here, and there's a lot of holding areas where fish will sit for a little bit, but they won't be there long on the big spring tides. Sometimes you can come here and you strike gold straight away, sometimes it can take a bit of working. So anyway, the conditions look good, it's nice and overcast, we've got a lot of swell today, which should slacken off as the tide drops here, but it's pretty big. So we'll see how we get on, hopefully we find a few fish, and yeah, bring in the new year properly. Well, let's see if we can find those bass. Fish on. I think it's only a little one. Feels like a bass, but it hit that pretty hard at first. But it is only a small bass. It's a feisty one. Oh, where's he gone? Oh, he's right there. Yeah, that is a bass. Hopefully he stays on there. Let's guide him in. Whoa! It's not a bad size actually. Right, come here. Beautiful. Well, here we go. I just moved spots. Only had about 5 or 6 casts over there. I moved spots. With the IMA Hound, we had this one bass take on the first cast in that area. Whoa, hey mate. So, it's a bit of a feisty one. Well, there we go. One beautiful bass. It's got a lovely green tinge to the top of it. You can see the light blue in the fins. How's that? Beautiful take in the tide. I'm going to get this fish back and get straight back in there. Right, so I'm not going to waste any time. Just going to drop this fish into here and he'll find his way back. Give him a little breather. We've got a wave coming. Is he going to kick? Yeah, he's kicking. Off it goes. Now I was just doing a pretty slow retrieve, pretty much like I'm doing now. I can feel that lure working in the tide, and I just like to give it the odd twitch because it makes the lure shimmer in the water and attracts the attention of the fish. But let's hope there's a few more around. Very good conditions for bass today, so hopefully we can find a couple more. Oh. Well, we have a late taker. Ah. Oh, there we go. There's bass number 2. That one took at literally the last second. That was unreal. I was, no joke, about to lift the lure out the water, and this little bass came along. Lovely job. Well, this little fella certainly took me by surprise. Oh no. Now that's what you don't want to happen. I'll just give you a show of that. Got the lure in the fish's mouth and my leg. There we go. Out my trousers. Let's get it out the fish. There we are. So there we go again, IMA Hound. And yeah, I was retrieving the lure in and I could see it under the water. That's why I got my glasses on. Polarized glasses on a day like this really help. I could see the lure just 10 meters or so in front of me, and I was literally just about to pull it out the water, and this little bass grabbed it. So there we go, bass number 2. A little bit smaller, that one. Probably just out of size, but still, nonetheless, great to see another bass. And like I said, I'm not going to waste much time. I'm going to get the lure straight back in the water, and hopefully if there's a few about, we can catch a few more. But beautiful. So as that tide's dropping, I'm just hopping along the rocks. And casting in a few different areas. Oh, now there is a spot I'd like to try when the tide drops a little bit more. Just going to be another sort of 10-15 minutes till I can get to it. I can really feel that lure working the tide. All I'm doing is a straight retrieve. There's really not a lot to it. You can slow it down or speed it up if you like. It really doesn't matter. When you've got a lure like that, like this Hound Glide, or any type of shallow diving lure like this, once you get it working against the tide, it's going to vibrate like mad. It's going to flash in the water, so the fish are definitely going to see it if they're there. Well, I've just come around a different side to have a few casts here, and he's just gone back under again. Well, there's a seal right in the shallow bit here. He keeps popping up and having a look at me. Oh, nearly got wet. I actually think there's two of them. There's two seals in the bay. There's another one right out there. I won't pick it up on the GoPro. So I'm just going to give it 10 minutes or so here. Yeah, there's two of them. There's one popping up and just in front of me, about 30 yards out, and there's one a lot further out there. So we've got Mr. Seal in the background. He's not moving, he's staying around here. He keeps bobbing up every now and then. His head's right out of the water now. Now my plan was, like I was saying, to just keep on moving along, to have a few casts in here. I was going to switch to the IMA Hound, which runs a little bit shallower, because it can be very snaggy in here. There's lots of kelp that sticks up and boulders close in. But it looks like that seal isn't going anywhere, so what I might do is head further round. It's a little bit of a trek, but I might go for a few casts over there and yeah, see if we can find any more fish. Well, I just watched the wrasse follow the lure right in close here. Lovely looking orange and brown looking wrasse, and I paused the lure and it took, but it came off right inside there in between the boulders. Now another thing is, that bloody seal is following me. That seal's coming around the bay there, and you won't see it on camera. That there is a bobber, but just to the left of the bobber he's just popped up. This could turn out to be a bit of a nuisance. So I've come over to a different area now. Now that seal will not leave me alone. Everywhere I go, it literally creeps around into each bay. I have a few casts, it sticks its head up, and then I have to move. Now I've come over to a different spot here, and I know that I'm going to be standing on a rock just to my right hand side, and I know that as I'm casting the lure out, I'm just going to retrieve it in a straight line, but I'm fishing over very, very thick and very tall kelp. So I put on the IMA Hound in the same colour pattern as the other lure, but this is just going to run a bit shallower. With me standing a bit higher up on the rock, I'll have the rod tip sort of medium to pointing down a little bit, and because I'll be a little bit above the surface of the water, hopefully this lure is just going to swim about 6 inches to a foot below the surface and avoid all that weed. So I'm going to give it a go here. I'm not prepared for today. I thought I was, but it turns out I'm not. I've got 30%. The seal's back here. I don't believe this. I was just about to say I've got 30% battery left on my GoPro, and the chest cam has just run out. I thought it was fully charged, but it's not. That seal is about 10 meters in front of me, and it's just broke the water. Oh. I'll see if I can get this on film. I think it might have a fish. So I've zoomed in as much as I can, and the seal's just gone back under, but I'm pretty sure it's got a fish because it came up, broke the surface, and then it was just thrashing about a little bit. So I reckon it's found something and it was just munching on it. Still not appeared again, but right here is the area. These are the rocks I was going to stand on here, and I was going to cast a lure into this area where the tide's sucking out there. It's pretty deep water here, but there's loads and loads of kelp just inside here, and then it breaks out onto sand on that bit. Now I could get over there, well I could probably get over there now and cast out onto the sand, but whilst this seal's about, I swear to God, it's following me everywhere. I've gone all around the bay, all around to the other side there, and it just swims around. I'll keep an eye out for it and we'll see if we can get a few casts away. So I'm going to keep this very short. I've got 2% battery left on my camera. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you on the next one.